Oh, it says you are live.
We are live. We are live. Just like
are we
that,
absolutely live?
Yeah, you betcha. It is exactly 12 noon here in London, and it's 12 o'clock, midday show, 14th of March.
Officially in spring, but you'd never know it from the weather.
Is it? It was really cold today. Really cold today. Really cold last night.
I had to put the heating on this morning. Excuse me. This is why I'm yawning. I didn't get much sleep last night. It was so cold.
Couldn't you cuddle your cat?
Oh, he doesn't like that very much.
How are you getting on with the cat? Let's have a feline update.
No, he definitely does seem a little bit more at home. He's still wary, but he's more at home, definitely.
Well, I've met you. I can understand.
Yeah. I like to think I make cats feel welcome.
Yeah. Last night, went to see Richard II, a play that I've never seen before.
Have you seen Richard I, though?
No, I didn't see. No, the musical. I haven't seen any of it. And it's the audience. It was my favourite theatre, and the audience was comprised, I would say, of 85% women for Richard II by Shakespeare, right? And I'm thinking, what? This is very weird. And the guy playing Richard II, whose name's gone right out of my head, was the guy from Bridgerton, the big heartthrob from Bridgerton TV show. And I've never seen an audience watching a Shakespeare play like.
Oh, you mean Jonathan Bailey?
Jonathan Bailey, that's his name. He was very good. I mean, he was marvelous. Yeah. The whole cast was fantastic. I thought it was the reviews were pretty good. They weren't ecstatic. I enjoyed it. It was I thought it was a pretty clever.
Has the Baz made comment on it?
I can't remember I don't think the Baz has seen it. I don't think Bazman has seen it. I'm not sure he has. But it was, I hope he goes to see it. I'd be very interested. They've done it in a very clever way. There's no set or anything, but you don't even realize there isn't a set. It's a complicated play, but beautifully acted. But this guy, as you left the theatre, you got the stage door by the side. I have never seen a crowd, 100% women, the biggest crowd outside the stage door I've ever seen in my life.
Have you ever gone by a stage door to wait for someone?
Yeah, sure. Loads of times.
Really? No, I think I've done it once. And even then, it's
no, but they're people I know. No, I've said, I'm coming to see your show. They go,
oh, I see. No. Sorry, people I know. Yeah, no, that's different. Sorry, I don't mean people I know. I'm talking about like just as a fanboy kind of thing.
Once.
Really?
Once. Yeah, Jimi Hendrix at the Royal Albert Hall. And I thought, I will stand in the rain. I was at school. I'm going to stand in the rain to catch a glimpse of Jimi Hendrix. And Hendrix came out, who was like God to me. I just adored Jimi Hendrix, still do. And he got into an Austin 1100.
So did you wait in the little wing?
Yeah. Oh. Boom. Yeah. It was good. And there wasn't like the biggest crowd ever. I mean, it was a much smaller crowd than it was wait for Jonathan Bailey outside the theatre. Oh gosh.
No, as I say, I think I've done that once where there was, I think it was for the We Will Rock You musical. Do you remember that at the Dominion Theatre?
Yeah, of course. Yes. I avoided it.
Some friends of mine, we went there because it was some sort of special anniversary edition where actually Brian May and Roger Taylor were on stage.
Roger Taylor.
So I can totally understand why, they wanted to go to have a look and see if they could spot the Queen legends themselves.
Yes,
but
I have to say,
I can't deny that it's just a bit odd in my mind. I don't like waiting around.
It is odd, but it's part and parcel of theatre land, and that's what they do. And it's interesting because I've never seen Shakespeare like just with 85% women just ogling the cast, because the cast were very good looking. The two leads. One playing Bolingbroke, who became Henry IV, parts 1 and 2, and the other playing Richard II. And they were like, wow, just adoration in their faces, because you could see, because it was done in the round, and sometimes you'd be there and there'd be an actor standing right next to you, which was a bit freaky, but there we go. It was cleverly. Oh, we haven't done our comments. What have we got going on? Philip Harling, hello, people. Oh my God. All right, that is the longest distance we've ever had. Auckland, New Zealand, Julie Voice. Fantastic.
That's amazing.
That is literally the other side of the world. Oh, Julie, how lovely of you. It's probably next Thursday over there. I don't even know.
I was going to say, it must be about 11 o'clock at night or something, or 10 o'clock at night, isn't it?
Can't believe she's there. How fantastic. I know you've gone down to see.
So there we go. So here we are. You're watching the midday show, but actually we're turning into the midnight show.
Very good. That's why you get the big bucks. And oh my goodness me, we're graced. Crazy name, crazy gal. Eve Phantom. Good afternoon to you, Eve. The great Barry J. Allen. Oh,
Flash.
Good afternoon.
Talking of Queen.
Yeah. And
I meant the song, by the way. I'm not saying that's No,
I understand that. So we weirdly, my mate Hilary O'Neill, a couple of years back, said, "I've got a Lady Rattlings ball. Do you want to come with me?" I went, really?
What? Sorry,
Lady Rattlings. It's a charity. Oh, where's she gone? Hang on, I'm coming back to Nadine in a minute.
It's 1 a.m. on Saturday morning.
What the hell are you doing? Why are you up? She's partying like crazy. Nadine,
so it really is the midnight show. Oh my goodness me.
We are graced.
We are graced.
We are really graced. Nadine, thank you. Thank you for joining us. How wonderful. Nadine Lamont.
It's Lady Whale. That's amazing.
It's her whale ship, her lady whale ship. Please give our love from both Phil and I and all the gang to the great man. Love that
Absolutely.
guy. James Whale. What a freaking legend. It's very interesting, Nadine, of course, as you know, because who produced James Whale's show on TV? Chantal Rickards, who comes up every week at 12:30. And she and I, when we start talking about James, we lose superlatives. We lose superlatives. What a iconoclast, a groundbreaker, fearless, and off screen, nothing like the on screen persona, which is lovely.
No, you're not supposed to give that away.
No, but you can say somebody's really. How many times we met people, right? And they're all lovely. And then you meet them, they're absolute shits.
Yeah, more often the other way around completely.
I know.
You see someone on screen, they come across as all, lovely, and they're all so sweetness and all light, and then behind the scenes,
they're monsters.
Bolting.
Phil and I, we won't mention who, but Phil and I have a particularly bête noire who just. I thought it was me. One day I thought, I've got to ask Phil. And I said, so-and-so, are they? And he went, and Phil's very polite. I'm not polite. Phil just went off the deep end. And I thought, thank God it's not just me. That person
Definitely
really
not.
is horrible.
Oh, Francoise has joined us as well.
I did the James Whale show in Liverpool in the 80s. I should imagine he still dreams about it, Francois.
Don't imagine it's a dangerous business.
Imagining anything, I know.
Yeah,
the show was fantastic. It was totally groundbreaking. It was great stuff. Great stuff. What was it called? Oh, it had a catchy name, and I can't think of the blooming name. It was like radio on television or something like that. Can you remember? Nadine, can you remember? I can't. That's got out my head.
James's show? Sorry.
Hang on. Hang on. Hang on a minute. What is your mother's joined in? Unless it's someone with an incredible.
I did the James Whale show in Liverpool in the 80s. I think Mum's being funny.
Well, what was your mother doing up in Liverpool in the 80s, for God's sake?
Dude, for goodness sake. There you go. The James Whale radio show. That was it.
Thank you, Nadine. Probably woke him up to ask him. And we got he was, I like this. How very Gallic. He was charming and dangerous.
Dangerous, my eye. What a stuff and nonsense, for goodness sake.
That's when Francois stares into the middle distance, smoking slowly on a Gauloise. That's an entire French film. That's it.
I'm quite excited, actually. Monday a week, Mother and I have got our postponed dinner with Francoise.
Oh, have you?
Yes. We were supposed to meet up last
Nando's?
week.
Not
Nando's,
yeah.
please.
I'm just checking.
Can you imagine
My
the
last
two of
dinner with
them,
Johnson
the two of
Baz.
them in the same room. I don't even think they know what Nando's is.
No, can you
Um,
imagine? I do not
but
go to Nando's.
Oh, I see. No, you. Oh, I see. No, you said Francoise has joined us, and so I said so have I. Oh, I see.
Linda, could you stop being so cryptic? I did ask Boy Wonder how you were getting on after
It's
tripping
true.
up.
He was very nice. He did ask after you. I didn't,
And
but he did.
No, he is gone.
He, as in the cat's grandfather.
Yeah, and that's it. Oh, this is very nice, and I'm glad that I started a radio station so you could discuss your social arrangements because it makes me feel warm and fuzzy.
It's not a radio station anymore. It's a live stream. It's all right.
Live stream. It's a live stream.
That's what we're here for.
Of course it is. Looking forward to it, Linda. I thought it said Linda and Paul talking about the Beatles for a second there. Are you going somewhere that we're allowed to know about, or we're not allowed to know?
Oh, hang on. Chantal's correcting here. Leeds, not Liverpool.
Who rattled her cage?
Uh-oh.
Who rattled her cage? She's in hair and makeup right now with that Winnebago pulls up every Friday. Gets there at 5 a.m. That's how she looks so fantastic. Fact.
I used to think it was a competition prize. You two could win a Bago. Going to bed now. Good night, all. Bye, Julie Voice. Sleep well.
Oh, Julie Voice in Auckland, New Zealand. That's fantastic.
Francoise.
Julie, I'm so thrilled. That's great.
Oh, yes.
Dennis,
sorry. Leeds, not Liverpool. Easily confused, right. I'm sure.
Yeah, it begins with L and it's north of Hampstead. So
we all know Watford Gap. That's all we know.
If it's north of Scratchwood Services, I'm lost, right?
That's it's a funny old name, that, isn't it? Scratchwood.
Could you think of anything less romantic? I'm meeting her at Scratchwood Services. It just sounds like a sort of centre of docking for me. Good afternoon. We made it through the week.
Don't mind me. I'm in Scratchwood.
Oh, are you?
Yes,
Which
we are.
One? What? But not
the
not,
Ivy
not the
in
one
Soho.
What? The one in West Street?
No, the Brasserie.
Oh, where's that? I don't know where that is.
I don't know where it is either.
I don't know. I know the one in West Street, which is the original.
Yeah, so do I. It's the original one. Yeah. I can live with the original one. Well, we went there once, didn't we, for vodka martinis? Do you remember that?
We did.
I think that was not. Was that not long after they just unlocked us or something like that?
I think they unlocked us. We said, "Please God, let's just go somewhere and
let's just go somewhere for a beverage," and we just shot off to the Ivy or something, as you do.
Well,
I make it sound like such a glamorous life.
It's just not. I think we wandered in, and we had a meeting. Didn't we have a meeting with someone who was a member of the Ivy Club, of which I would never join because it's crazy expensive and who needs it? But I mean, it's very lovely, but who needs it? And when we had to keep changing tables because it was so loud. I couldn't hear. It's like going mad. Francoise hasn't the faintest idea where it is. Thank God for Google.
But Francoise booked it.
No, she's French. She's enigmatic. She doesn't need. She could book it, but she doesn't need to know where it is. That's how the French operate.
Oh, whoops.
That's how they operate. They can build the original Citroen DS21 with the greatest suspension hydraulic system. No one knows how to fix it. They're French.
I wouldn't put those two in the same sentence.
They give an enigmatic shrug of their Gallic shoulders. I don't know. And that's
how can you put Citroen and suspension in the same sentence?
They're fantastic. Are you kidding? They're fantastic. They're the best. Did you ever have a Citroen?
My cousin had a Citroen.
No, I'm talking about the original ones that look like spaceships. They were just the
I'd
still love one of those. They're
so are they the ones where the doors meet in the middle?
Well, every door meets in the middle. How else
you know what I mean. So you've got the hinge of the front doors go to the middle of the car. The hinge of the back doors go to the middle of the car. And then they open up like a flap.
Don't know. The ones that have the indicators up on the roof line, they came out in the 50s.
Oh, yeah, 60s. They sort of like jumped up from the sides or something.
Yeah.
I
love those. They're called DS21s. They're absolutely magnificent. And Francois will remember from the black and white movies when they had the Citroën Traction Avant. Maigret used to tool around in it. It was great. Have you seen the new Bergerac, by the way? I'm just curious what people think. Have you seen it? Started to watch it. It's like a reimagining reboot of Bergerac. If you're expecting somebody like John Little's Don't watch it. If you
Oh.
come at it with a fresh mind and go, this is a brand new show, I'm not comparing it to John Nettles, you'll get into it. It takes a bit of time to.
Mind you, to be fair, I actually thought the remake of Maigret was quite good.
Oh, with Rowan Atkinson.
Yeah,
it was. It was all right. It was all right. It was
bit of a far cry from Johnny English, or indeed Inspector Fowler from The Thin Blue Line, but yes.
Oh, I thought The Thin Blue Line was one of the most underrated TV comedies.
I agree completely. It was absolutely
with PC Goody.
Yeah, absolutely. James Dreyfus.
James Dreyfus has been on the show. One of my favorite comedic actors. He's one of my favorite actors, actually. Oh, hang on. Look at this. Now, you see, I knew she'd get involved. You have a very high opinion of the French. Citroën has a suspension, goes up when you get out and goes down when you're in the car. Oh, Jean Gavin used to drive one in the 50s, I think. Yeah. They're amazing.
I don't have a high opinion of it. I'm under no delusion. I told you my cousin had a Citroën. I was using it for a short while.
And
I'll tell you one thing it did have. No, I'll tell you one thing I was very impressed with, how comfortable the seats were.
They're fantastically comfortable. French cars are very comfy. In Francois cars, there's just a chaise longue. It's not no seat, just a chaise longue.
A motorized chaise longue.
Just,
can you imagine whizzing through the London traffic onto my knee?
Just on a chaise longue, cigarette holder, some exotic French outfit.
Someone standing on a platform. Someone standing on a platform feeding some grapes or something like that. As it goes through the Blackwall Tunnel.
The thing about the Citroën,
someone honks at her, get out of the way, you stupid kid. Mind your language.
Yeah, very good. See, we can keep this going for hours, Francois. The thing about the GS21 is if you had a flat tire, you didn't used to use a jack or anything like that. You press some buttons, the car rose up, and you could take the tire clean off. It was amazing. You could drive. Oh yeah, there's loads of videos. You can drive it on 3 wheels. Joking aside, completely maneuverable, handles perfectly on 3
from
wheels.
From a Citroën DS1 to a Robin Reliant.
Yeah, well, it's a
Reliant Robin or whatever.
Yes, well, no, they don't roll over straight. At top gear, right? I'm in the Reliant. So he gets to the first bend, it just rolls on his side.
Oh, James May was in the building a couple of weeks ago.
Was he?
Got in the lift. That's next to it is James May. What the hell are you doing here?
Was he fixing something with glue? Was he?
I don't know, but it was just a bit weird, really. I sort of suddenly realised in that one moment that my life is a bit surreal.
Well, it is. It is very. When you see people out of context, I'm useless because I don't recognise. I've got this thing. I just don't recognise people. It's pathetic, right? Because somebody says, "Well, that's so and so," and I go, "Where?" I'm looking around. Right?
I think that's why people have an issue with me in the supermarket. It's out of context.
Why, you don't go to a supermarket?
I just don't.
I missed the joke, haven't I? Have I missed the joke?
I'm just not very good in supermarkets.
Why? Well, how do you shop?
Well, I shop, but badly.
Why can't you use a supermarket? It's not that tricky.
I don't like
use a supermarket.
There's lots of people in a supermarket.
Oh, I hate that.
I go at quiet times.
Hate that. Yeah, I do. I used to like, about 6-7 years ago, I used to like going shopping at 10:30 at night. You, it's great. You and a few nutcases. That was kind of it.
But at least you could go to another aisle and there wouldn't be anyone there.
No, it's fantastic. Just marvelous. Used to whiz round, little music playing. It was
how did you get away with that?
No, I wasn't playing the music. I was just whizzing round, you know.
No, I know. That's what I'm asking. How you got away with?
No, I wasn't. Grow up. For God's sake. Now, interesting.
It's not been seen in Tesco since.
How are you getting on with world events?
Tesco, every little helps.
It should be. It's kind of unfortunate because it sounds like every little helps.
That's true.
And I'm just for convenience, I don't really care where the hell I go, to be honest. As long as it's not Waitrose, which is Waitrose. Anybody else? I've said this before.
The three Did you know the names of the 3 people who started that supermarket you've just mentioned, the high-profile one?
Waitrose. Do I know the names of them?
the original names, right?
Oh.
There's 3 people, right?
Yeah.
And the original names are Waite, Rose, and Taylor.
Were they?
And that's where it gets its name from.
Waitrose. What happened
Yes.
to Taylor?
I think they finished him off.
Well, if I was Taylor, I'd be pissed off.
I know, I'd be really hacked off.
I'd be really pissed. It's like, hang on.
Oh,
I'd go to my 2 partners. I go, excuse me. What's the name? Waitrose. Where's my name? We ran out of letters. That's it.
Do you know, I did ever tell you the time when I was in Waitrose, I was very unimpressed by this because, you know, you go to Waitrose with a certain element of expectation, don't you? You do,
and a certain element of your bank balance getting a good kicking. Yes.
No, I know. I don't get me wrong. We didn't really walk in unless you sort of got a solid mortgage. But you go in there with some sort of element of expectation as to the kind of treatment you're going to get from the staff.
That would be good.
And I went to one particular chap in Brent Cross, the branch there. And I said to him, I said, excuse me, young guy, obviously sort of some sort of weekend job or something like that. I said, excuse me. I said, could you tell me where the confectionery aisle is, please? No, I didn't. Sorry, I beg your pardon. I said, could you tell me where the confectionery is, please?
I can see what's coming.
He looked a little bit confused. And he said, I'm sorry. I said, could you tell me where the confectionery is, please? And he looked at me, you could see sort of like no comprehension just across the face, which is blank.
Is he talking in tongues?
And he said, I think we're out at the moment. I said, sorry, what? You're telling me you have no confectionery in this whole store?
It's not the season for confectionery.
And he said,
very bad crop this year. Very bad crop.
He said, no, I don't think so. He said, wait, hey, hang on. He said, wait, what's confectionery? And I said, sweets and chocolates, my friend. He said, why didn't you just say so?
Is that what he said?
I said, I did. So anyway, so he took me to the aisle where the sweets and chocolates were. And you know those boards that they have above the aisles to tell you what's what?
What?
You know the boards they have above the aisles to tell you what's in what's what?
Signage. Yeah, the signage. Right.
I looked up and sure enough, it said confectionery. And I said, excuse me. I said, just in case you think I was making it up, have a look up there. And he said, oh, I never read those. And you would not believe how it took everything, biting down the hardest on my tongue I could think of, to say, you don't read them or you can't read them.
Oh,
because that was
burn.
No, but come on,
burn.
For goodness sake, that was ridiculous. How can you work in Waitrose and not know what confectionery is? But when he said, I think we're out of it, for goodness sake. Anyway.
I'd have had to double down and say, do you have any artisan avocados? Shove the word in artisan. I would just think sounds like arseache, but shove the word artisan and you can just triple the price. Doesn't matter what crap you're selling. Oh, I've got an artisan phone.
Yes, it's a right old pain in the artisan.
Artisan. Where did they get this nonsense from? Artisan. What's it even mean? I know what it's meant to mean, but it can't really.
Oh, do you know I tell you the word I can't stand is fusion.
Oh my God. All hail the James, all hail the James.
Oh, good Lord.
All hail the James well. Anyway,
I dread to think what he's saying about this.
He's making notes. He goes, how do these two talk such shit for 30 minutes? How do they do
Whale, don't panic. Chantal will be along shortly. She'll save the program.
Yes, your former producer will be on. Fusion. Yeah.
No, do you know when you go to a restaurant and it's apparently some sort of like hybrid of two cuisines and they call it a fusion?
It's absolute bollocks. It's like, I don't want it. I don't want a fusion. Just give me, don't get arsey in the kitchen. Try and be over clever. I saw something.
It's not clever. I mean, it's just marketing. It's what it boils down to.
Fusion. There's a new fusion. It's just, in Greek Street. Yeah, it's like Indian Greek fusion. Yeah,
it's
really
a bit
great.
like what was the name of that lady who used to do the food and drink show? Gillian someone.
Oh, Gilly Gordon. Discovered by my schoolmate who I'm seeing next week, Peter Bazalgette.
Oh,
Gilly Gordon. Yeah.
So He's picking up.
Chili Gordon. But you know what?
He's picking up some
tips. That'll be the
how
day.
not to do a show.
That'll be the day. We're like Harry Potter compared to Gandalf. Jesus, are you kidding me? Yeah, picking up tips from us, James.
Yeah, Jilly Watts of Chops. She used to drive me
Gordon.
insane.
But these people, it's really very interesting. I've known Peter Bazalgette since we were 9 years, literally since we were 9 years old. So he did all the food and drink programs and everything like that. And I said, "Well, the hell is this an act with these people? What are they?" And he went, "No,
I do think what we need to do.
That's what they're like."
You do know, so we don't have to make the whales suffer.
Yeah,
another 5 minutes. Can we just bring Chantal on straight away, just so she can save the show?
Makeup's ready. Makeup team moving away. Hair session. Nikki Clark just moving out the shot now. Ladies and gentlemen, you know her, you love her, and the person that she produced is watching this show. Ladies and gentlemen, Chantal Rickards OBE.
I feel I feel rather embarrassed that James is watching.
I know the whales are watching.
How do you think we feel?
I know.
You've seen our work. I mean, you know how crap we are, so you've got nothing to be embarrassed about. And you've got an OBE, for God's sake.
I know.
I've got a Blockbusters Video Club membership.
People like me shouldn't really be front of house. I'm much more of a background.
No stuff and nonsense.
No, that's not true.
Hello, James, and hello, Nadine, and hello, boys.
Hello to you.
Oh, there you go. He says hello.
He says hello to you.
Excellent.
We don't know if that.
I feel like I've got to be on my best
We don't know if that's
behaviour.
through gritty teeth. We don't know if that's a warm hello. It could be hello. Could be that. We don't know. We're okay. We're okay. It's been a busy old week for me, and Phil's always busy. I mean, running an empire, Hackney Empire. I've had a ridiculous week this week. Absolutely ridiculous week. I had 3 days of consecutive funerals to officiate that, and one was fine, and two were a little bit.
So I know I'm perfectly sure that you wouldn't necessarily want to breach client confidentiality, but what went wrong with said funerals?
Yeah, come on, fess up.
It wasn't one of those ones, was it, where like sort of the doors didn't open, the curtains didn't close? Or something?
Nothing like that.
You tried to trigger the music and it played the countdown theme tune or something.
I'm being very polite because I take my work of that side of my life very seriously.
Absolutely. And who can blame you? But I'm just wondering whether or not.
Well, I'll tell you, on one of them, when people send back amendments, it's like they've given me the wrong information about a date, or it could be that I misunderstood something when I interview them, or it could be a misspelling of when the date they got married somewhere else. It could be anything like that. Factual stuff. When you get, please change the ampersand to an and I'm going, I'm reading this.
Oh dear.
Pardon? So what? Sorry, the eulogy or whatever it was. They wanted you to remove the ampersand,
change it to an the word and. I'm reading it,
but it's not going to be seen by anyone.
I know that.
No, that sounds like my level of pedantry.
And then in the words order of service, please make the of. I'm not making this up. The of lowercase o. You have it capital O. I'm going, okay. Anyway, that was one, but it went beautifully. And the deceased.
Did you tell them that the client won't care?
They are the client.
Oh,
so they can have whatever they want.
Yeah.
Whatever they want. I've now got to the stage. This is so bizarre, Chantal, where I get the phone calls from the funeral director's company. And they just want to vent. I don't know why they just phone me up to vent, not just to talk.
They've obviously been listening to the show, and they know what.
I don't think they do.
So you're telling me you've now become some sort of therapist to funeral directors?
Yeah, hilarious.
Didn't take long, did it? Anyway, my favorite from this week, and I'm being very polite. If you write a eulogy, which I do. It is no more than 3 pages of A4, and I use Times Roman 14 point because my eyesight, no more than that. That is the proper length of a eulogy. The client wanted to write their own eulogy. They insisted. Very, very intellectual folk. Very intellectual. I said, of course, absolutely. So I have 3 pages. I receive 12 pages.
No.
12 pages.
No.
48 hours before.
Hang on, but what? So what was the font size? 11 or what?
No, it was not small. It was not small.
God.
So I go back and I say, with the greatest respect, have you booked a double, what we call a double slot, like for an hour and a half, or an hour? No, 45 minutes. I go, well, I think we're going to have a problem here, because if you run over,
Yeah.
the funeral directors get heavily fined by the chapel.
Is
Heavily
that
fined.
right?
Yeah.
Oh.
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting.
Because
That's
they are
shocking.
because they're so busy. Well, think of it.
Oh, I
this
see.
way.
I suppose. Yeah, when you think of it
You've
like
got
that.
people.
Yeah, maybe.
You've got maybe 50, 100 people waiting outside the door. It could be raining. You're running over.
Oscars.
It has yeah, it's like the limo. Well, you know, and you can't, because it impacts the rest of the day. You can't run over, so they can get heavily fined. And also, there's now a precedent that the mourners, the family could get fined as well. There's a precedent.
No.
Yeah,
Wow.
just been said.
That's
So
terrible.
I have to. Well, it's understandable, but I have to very gently corral everybody, say we've got to keep it exactly into the time that you have been allocated, that you've requested. So it gets redacted, fine, fair enough. And there's a printed order of service. It's been approved by everybody. It's gone to the printers. It comes back. It's handed out to everybody. So the first thing is the lady gets up, and I can see deliberately they have not used the edited version.
No.
Oh, now we've got a problem. So that was the first bit. So anyway, cut to the chase. I go down the order of service. Remember, everyone's looking at it. It's packed. It's a lovely woman who's passed away, charming, musical brilliance and everything.
So watchmaker.
And I say, and now I'd like to invite, Mary Jones. I'm reading it. I've had this information for some time. Now I'd like to invite Mary Jones to come up with her memories of X. Woman goes white. Goes, no, I'm not speaking. The main mourner turns around. This is in the middle of it, goes, yes, you are. You are speaking. And she goes, no, this is a misunderstanding.
Oh,
Those were
God.
just notes I gave you.
On the plus side, at least you made up for some of the time.
At
Thank God.
which point I lost it. I thought, well, I've got to take control. So I turned to the congregation and I'm laughing. I couldn't help it. I'm laughing. And I go, well, I don't know about you, ladies and gentlemen, but I'm absolutely loving this. The place just fell apart because they could see what was going on. And then another lady, God only knows who that was, they stood up and said, well, I'll read it. And she got up. She read the thing and I managed to keep everything on time. But I've never had when someone is down in the order of service all printed up and say, well, I'm not speaking.
Oh, dear.
I got out. I headed to
I'd
the
just
nearest...
die of stage fright. Well, you're in the right place.
Well,
So.
Everyone's emotions are very heightened, but you're trying to be the sort of ringmaster, the master of ceremonies, keep everything going. And you don't want to keep going. They're so rude,
No. Well, underrunning, just for those who are maybe vaguely interested, underrunning in television is nearly as bad as overrunning. And sometimes there are some presenters who just want to do the job and get out. But actually what a producer always needs is a bit of extra flesh on the bone so that you can go back, cut a few things out, put a better line in here. But you need to keep the presenter going for another 5 or 10 minutes. And you do this in studio, which is spread.
Stretch out. Yep.
That's what the floor manager would do to make you talk for longer. So there was one particular presenter that James Whale will certainly know from Yorkshire Television, who I will not name, who always wanted to get out of studio pretty fast. So what we would say to the floor manager was he would have his cards counting down from 10 minutes. And instead of showing a new card every 60 seconds, we wouldn't tell him to put up the card for a minute and a half. So the clock ticked down much more slowly to make the presenter talk longer.
I love that.
There you are.
So just out of interest, in the days when obviously this particular presenter would have finished early,
yes,
what was the get out? What happened?
The Potter's Wheel.
No,
Wheel.
It meant that I always had enough in the edit to complete the program, but I had no spare. I had nowhere to go.
I see.
So if one of the questions had been duff and the answer had been terrible, I had to use it.
Use that. Yeah.
Because I only got 24 minutes worth of material, when actually what you really need is about 34 minutes worth of material. And then you need to get your little scissors out.
Mm-hmm.
But there we are.
You're like the
do your splicing.
You're the Martin Scorsese of television.
And you're not quite.
Oh, here we go.
James wants Chantal to tell you how obedient he always was.
James was absolutely wonderful in the studio. I can't tell you any more than that. He was kind. He was considerate. He was a consummate professional. Everything was done so cheerfully. No bad moods, other than the one where he famously flounced out of the studio and walked off down the Kirkstall Road, being followed by a cameraman. But
really,
wow. But there is a bit of a backstory, which I think only James can tell you.
I'm in no rush.
The fact that a camera happened to be waiting outside may have something to do with it. But I can't.
What a coincidence. It could happen.
It could. It could. At 1 o'clock in the morning, you could just happen to fall across a cameraman on the
camera crew with a light. The whole thing. Now, before you joined us with your grace, charm, and elegance, I mentioned that I thought, they keep pushing it so hard on TV. I thought I'd look at the new Bergerac, and I wondered if you'd see. Oh, Nadine, come on, you're spoiling everything.
What is she saying?
The whole magic of showbiz.
Well, I'm glad Mrs. Wales said that and not me. I couldn't possibly comment on whether it was a publicity.
Possibly say. Have you seen this new Bergerac version?
Well, I've tried.
I thought you were going to say that.
I've tried. Do you know what the saddest thing is? They haven't got the original music.
No, I thought they might do that, you know.
No, but I love the music. And the minute you hear the music, you're straight back.
I love that music. Da, 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 was that it?
Such a pity.
I thought it was Dallas.
Of course it is.
Dallas. That was
Dallas.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about Bergerac.
Now, I thought, I'm going to watch it. I'm going to try and get into it. And I thought, okay, but actually, I don't think I ever saw an episode of the original Bergerac with John Nettle.
What?
I'm shouting. I just somehow didn't watch. My mum loved it. She thought it was great. I don't remember watching it particularly.
Wait, did she love the show, or did she love John Nettles?
Both.
We all love John Nettles.
Everyone loved John Nettles. A charming man by all accounts. Anyway, I started to watch it. So I came to it with no expectations. So I'm not sitting there going, oh, it's not John Nettles. It was new, right? It was like tabula rasa. Okay, clean slate. And I thought, this guy, the way he's written is so, you just want to slap him. He's really annoying. I'm sorry. I'm not saying he's a bad actor. I'm saying the way they've portrayed the character. Zoe Wanamaker's great.
Yeah.
Always great.
We like Zoe.
But actually, it started, and Philip Glenister, can't put a foot wrong. He's fantastic.
Can't go wrong.
And then I sort of got through episode 1, swimming through molasses. I thought, okay, you got me. I'll bite. And it starts to warm up, oddly enough. It starts to get better. But he's a very tricky character to like.
Right. Well, I struggled with the first episode because unlike the old Bergerac, where you had one whodunit in every show.
Yeah, which I like.
Yeah, which is nice because you just get 45 minutes. You get your hit. You work out what's happened. There's a resolution. Yeah. Fine, turn off, go to bed, whatever. But with it's a 6-parter, so you have to watch 6 episodes.
Oh, that's a shame. I don't like that. Yeah.
So it feels I don't know why they called it Bergerac, to be honest.
No, they should. I'm actually thinking. I'll tell you what it reminded me of.
Yeah.
And you'll think this is a hell of a stretch. When Ford wanted to bring out their SUV electric, they called it the Mustang E.
Okay.
And everybody was in two minds. One was, what a bloody cheek. It's not a Mustang. How dare you? Because Mustang is sacred. It's a four-door SUV. You've shoved the name Mustang on the side. And the other people said, yeah, that makes sense because you're trying to inherit some of that fantastic Mustang legacy. Exactly. They could have called this Joe Bloggs. They could have called it absolutely bloody anything, because the guy's a mess and he's nothing like the John Nettles character. But I think they just wanted thinking like, okay, gotcha. That's it. Younger people.
I think sometimes they just play on the name. They play on the success of something. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you have to deliver if you're.
And it can happen in all walks of life, really. I mean, if you think about it, look at the comedian Russell Kane. He's just clearly trying to emulate you.
No, but if you are going to acquire what they call the brand equity, the original brand equity, then you've got to satisfy the customer. And if you don't do that, it's
a little like, and it brings right back to you having your lunch with Francois Pascal and your mum, is the brand equity. I'm serious about the Ivy, because some people go, no, oh my God, you are kidding me. No way. You are kidding me.
Oh
James,
my goodness. Hello.
Oh, hail the whale.
All right, guys, calm down. Calm down. I'm just sitting here having a cup of tea, and Lady W was looking through podcasts for some reason. And she looked at that and she saw Phil Dave. I have no idea why. And thought he might be able to give us some tips on ours. I was in bed, by the way.
Does she make you get out of bed?
Look,
hey, Lady W.
She's too embarrassed. Look.
Even got a bra on.
She hasn't even got a
Too much information.
Takes us back to the old days, doesn't it?
It certainly does.
My God. Dear it is.
How long did you two work together, James? How long did you work with Chantal?
It seemed like years and years and years.
4 years.
4 years.
It was more than 4 years.
No, it wasn't. On and off for 4 years. From the very first episode right through to, for 4 years.
I mean, in TV terms, that's quite a long time.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a hell of a long time. It was bloody good fun. Mad late nights in Leeds.
Unfortunately, Yorkshire TV decided to use me to get more money out of the rest of the network. So they said they'd drop our program. And then the boss of Yorkshire came back and said, James, we were only using that as a negotiating thing, but they didn't tell me that. And I'd already signed a contract to go to LWT. Sorry about that.
It was all a bit surprising.
Well, I knew you weren't going to be satisfied with just being a producer. I knew you wanted to be the boss. So, I mean, it was just, in those days, they didn't think we'd get an audience.
No.
In fact, they used us to prove that nobody would watch.
Yeah.
Didn't work for them.
No.
Well, I was going to say, surely that
2 million people at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Then.
Do you know, apart from talk radio and talk TV and maybe one other station, which I won't mention, there isn't much in the way of talk broadcasting in this country. There's loads in America, every town, every city. And the success of podcasts, they're basically just speech broadcasting, aren't they?
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's radio with pictures, exactly what we did with the James Whale radio show, which was on television.
Now, I just wanted to clear up the walking out.
Right.
I don't know whether Chantal wants to leave at this point. Because I don't think you were part of it, were you?
I'm not saying anything.
Okay, fine.
You're so discreet.
This is extraordinary.
Our boss at the time, the guy who actually got it all on was a man called Ian Bolt. Bless him, he's no longer alive.
Yeah.
And very quick story. He rang me one day and said, "Oh, hi, I'm Ian Bolt. I produce Through the Keyhole and a few other programs, but I love your show so much. I was sitting in the car last night listening to it outside, and my wife thinks I was late because I'm up to no good," which was, of course, not true at all. And he says, "So I thought I'd like to put it on TV," and I slammed the phone down at that point and rang my agent because I'd never heard of Ian Bolt. And I said, "Some pillock telling me they're called Ian Bolt from Yorkshire TV has just rung up. How did they get my number? Blah, 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 blah." And she put me in my place, quite rightly. And Ian and I mean, the whole team were friends, weren't they?
Yeah. Yeah, it was really good fun. Really, really good. And I mean, we were all pretty young in those days. So we were all sort of growing up together and, you know, making mistakes. But we just had such a loyal audience. It was fantastic. It was really...
And we had a loyal crew because they had to volunteer because Yorkshire Television at the time, I hope they're not still around. Well, in my state, I don't give a shit anyway. The fact is that they didn't put any money into the program. They never advertised us at all.
No.
They advertised rubbish programs, but they never advertised the James Whale radio show. So to get back to the point, Ian came up with the idea that I would walk off the program live on air.
Which was fantastic. Got so much publicity.
And I had I have a mate, he's still around, I don't see him very often, who at the time was a Chicago cop.
Yeah.
And we thought it'd be quite fun for me to go over and do a little film.
James as well?
Yeah, I took Graham Pollard with me.
Yeah. But was he also called James?
Sorry, say again.
Was the guy, the policeman, was he also called James?
Oh gosh. No, he's Michael Blackburn, the cop.
Oh, Michael. Okay, I've got it wrong. But I remember.
I'm very elderly now, in my 70s, and can't hear very well.
Join the club.
So what happened was Ian told the cameraman, but he didn't tell anybody else, including the floor manager. And the floor manager in those days was very important, particularly on a live program. Sorry, my dog wants to be. Oh, yeah. Okay, look.
Yeah. Oh, bless.
And so we walked out, went to, I can't remember where we went to, a hotel or somebody's house. And then we'd already got packed and then went to the airport. And I think we flew straight off or early in the morning. And I remember opening up the paper at the airport and big photograph and big story. James Whale talk show host walks out on TV program.
Yeah.
And was it Sonia?
I think it was Sunita.
It was Sunita, who was one of my guests, and she took over presenting it. So she knew.
Oh.
And then for the next week or so, I think it was
Nina Mishkov.
Nina Mishkov, yeah.
Yeah.
Because she was quite rude too.
Back in the day, she was.
I've only ever worked with rude people. That's not true. I've worked with one or two who haven't been rude, but there's a bit of
not on a Friday, you don't.
Yeah, but it was really strange actually, because the one time we actually met Nina Mishkov, I was fully expecting to sort of be like intimidated by this really scary kind of person who I've always seen her as being. She was really nice. It was almost annoying.
She's a great pal of Chantal's.
Yeah, Chantal molded her, but she is unfortunately socialist inclined.
Oh, well, you can't win them all, I suppose.
Yeah,
sorry?
Yeah,
but you can't win them all, can you? But
I did it. Yeah, I did invite her to my MBE do.
Oh,
what
that's
a
where I
night
met
that
her.
was.
She came with you, didn't she?
Yeah, that's where I met her. That's where I saw her. Sorry.
Yeah.
But I didn't. I'm sorry if I didn't speak to any of you because A, I didn't know who was going, and B, there were so many people there. Every time I turned around, somebody else talked. So it was a bit like a wedding.
That was a fantastic night. Though.
What a
that
night
really
that
was fantastic.
Apart from I had to sit next to Phil Dave, and apart from that,
I'm sure.
Oh gosh, how did you get that? Because a lot of people did. over the years, people do fall out, don't they?
We never have. I'll be honest with you. We never had for years and years and years. I tell you who I met for the first time there, James, and he's a hell of a guy, Charlie Mullins.
Oh,
What
yeah.
an interesting guy.
Can I tell you something about Charlie?
No, do, please.
He's probably the nicest and most generous man I've ever met. And I've known him for probably nearly 30 years. I used to do all the voiceovers for Pimlico Plumbers. And when he couldn't find a celebrity, I used to turn on his Christmas tree lights as well. and I mean, as you all know, he's become one of the wealthiest men in the country.
Yeah.
He started off as a plumber. He had this amazing idea, and then eventually sold his company up for well over £100 million.
He did.
And he paid for the whole of that do.
Wow.
I know.
know
It was
that.
very generous of him.
Yeah,
It's
it
very
was.
good of him.
It was a wonderful evening. He's
Yeah.
now started, he lives in Spain, and because he says he refuses to, he's paid, God knows how much in tax over the years, millions. And
Yeah.
he says publicly, so I'm not saying anything behind his back. He says it on X, Twitter. I refuse to give a penny to this government until they sort themselves out. That's why I've gone to Spain. I said I was going to go, and I've gone. And he's started a new company. What's it called? Is it called We Fix It?
It's
Oh,
called
really?
We Fix, yeah.
Yeah, that's him. Yeah, We Fix It. He's got the vans up and running and everything.
Yeah, well, it's his son and grandson are running it.
Ah.
And he's done it in such a way that, I mean, he can't. When we had a dinner with him not long ago, it was probably longer than I think now ago, and Lady W she still doesn't understand the world of celebrity and showbiz. So she tries to pay her way.
Oh,
With Charlie Mullins.
And she said, you got us dinner last time. We're getting this, blah, blah, blah. And I'm thinking, no, it's really expensive. And Charlie said, no, I've already done it, darling.
I'm loving the way that you're probably sitting there, Mr. Whale, thinking, shut up.
Sweating bullets.
The interesting thing about doing what we do, guys, is I've had a nice life. I can't, I'm terminally ill, so I spend a lot of my time reflecting, and I've had a great life. But I never made huge amounts of money. And the reason I never made huge amounts of money is A, I prefer to be working at any cost than not. And B, up until not long ago, probably even now, people never valued nighttime broadcasts. Television, early evening broadcasting, radio, maybe 10 o'clock until midnight at night was a good slot to have, a slot I always had.
Yeah.
But we got huge audiences on the TV and the radio.
James, our first budget, James, from memory, because I think I put the budgets together for the first show, was £16,000 an hour.
That sounded like a fortune to me.
It sounds like a lot to me. I don't know.
It wasn't very much money, I can tell you.
It sounds like a lot in TV land, I can tell you.
For an hour's live television with, 3 cameras, at least 3 cameras, if not 4.
Yeah.
That was small money.
Well, yeah. And I mean, I was going to say most of it was paid to me, but sadly it wasn't. And do you know, my first fee per show was, I think, 250 quid.
I think it was.
Bloody
Yeah.
hell.
And there was no huge expenses like assistant cameramen.
No.
Although what you needed them for, I'm really not sure. Or we couldn't afford a bloke to stand around with a jug of water in case I became hoarse.
Yeah.
Because that was a proper job in TV.
Yeah. The guest
Was it? I thought you were kidding.
No. They gave them a really good title, but that was really basically what the job was. And then
Wow.
when I started in radio in the 70s, I turned the studio off at night when I'd finished. Because after my program, there wasn't anything, just a recorded tape, because I finished about midnight or 1. And they said it was no point in broadcasting after that.
James, I've got to ask you, and tell me to mind my own business and shut up if you don't want to. All right. You've been very open about your illness constantly.
Yeah, I
Where
do
do you
bore
get
a lot. You're right.
Where do you? No.
Not
I'm
a
being
bore, it's
just
really
serious for. I'm just serious for a sec because you know how much we admire you. There's no, that's true. You know, we've met. But where do you get your strength from, and how do you remain so stoic? Because I find it inspirational.
Here you are. Look.
Oh,
that's lovely.
wow.
Give us
All
a
right,
wave, Lady W.
I'm a bit emotional now. Okay,
I don't be. I
I'll
mean,
admit
to be fair, I've been going through. I'm going to do part of the show tonight because I want to, and I get a lot of help now. I'm being taken to the studio, and sometimes I'm pushed in a wheelchair, which is slightly embarrassing, I have to tell you.
Oh, wow.
In fact, Lady W loves gardening, and we had to go to the Chelsea flower show this year because she'd got tickets. Was it last year? Oh, it was last year. But she didn't tell me until we got there. And luckily, my brother and his wife were with us, that she had already booked a wheelchair for being there.
Oh.
And they all wheeled me through. It was A, it was uncomfortable. And B, I have to tell you, people are gormless, basically. They just do not look where they're going. And when you're
they also think it affects. The other thing is, they think it affects your mind, and they talk to you like you know you're a moron. It's incredible.
Well, yeah, I've got to accept that because Lady W does say that I do always bring conversations back to myself. But that's the kind of life we lead, isn't it?
Exactly. Well,
yeah,
I mean,
but there's one slight difference is that when you bring it back to you, it's actually interesting. It's when
Not
people
if you've
who
heard
bring
the
it-
same
it's
story
when
100
people
times.
bring it back to themselves and they're boring as hell.
Let me go back and just briefly answer the other bit. I find it very therapeutic to actually talk about my illness. I'm slightly embarrassed because a lot of my book was called Almost a Celebrity because I've always done it for the fun rather than anything else. And I can't understand now there's this wish just to be famous.
It's horrible.
It's really quite not, sometimes you might achieve fame by something you do, but not just to be famous. But anyway, and lots of people go on and talk about being ill and everything. And I just decided with Deanie here that, somebody spotted me. I think it was at Bart's one day and came over and said, oh, I'm in this hospital too. That was Hospital Bart's, by the way. And we got chatting about it and they said, thank you very much. I can't remember exactly what it was, but we decided we'd talk about it because I find it quite helpful.
Yeah.
And of course, as you know, I love to talk about me.
James's podcast is very good. If you're not a regular listener, it's very good. It drops on a Saturday morning and it's always worth listening to.
Tales of the Whales. For goodness sake, you've got to listen to it. It's fantastic.
I'm trying to talk her into doing it when I'm not here.
Oh,
don't.
But I'm going to, ow.
Is that the dog?
That's the dog. As long as the dog's comfortable, that's the main thing. As always.
The other side, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
He
my
probably
goodness
got
me.
bored. Look at this one down here. Look.
And look what I've got on my desk.
Brilliant.
Oh, a whale.
That
Look at
is
that.
Oh my goodness, a whale with headphones.
that is my original badge from the James Whale show with the little headphones on that I have on my desk next to me.
James,
love
look,
it.
James,
Right, yeah.
have a look at the screen. How did you see?
There's the badge with the little headphones on.
Lord.
There's my Blue Peter badge, and next to it is my funny little other badge.
Oh my God.
Those are the three things I have on my desk.
I love that. Blue Peter. I've got to ask. Go on. I'll bite. What's the Blue Peter badge for? What did you get?
No, I used to employ the Blue Peter gardener, and he gave me his Blue Peter badge. So there we are.
Blimey, O'Reilly.
Tell people what the height of your career, Chantal. You were running. Which organisation did you run?
I was the chief executive of BAFTA in Hollywood. That was
BAFTA.
my last full time. I nearly stole a BAFTA, but
it's a fair request.
Do you know one thing I'd like to have? I thought, and people said, "Oh, you've got an MBE," and I said, "Well, that's fair enough. I'm sure I got it for all the wrong reasons, being old and having managed to stay employed for so long, or whatever, or starting the kidney cancer charity sort of 20 years ago, whatever." Anyway, and I thought what I really like, because I failed the 11 plus. You know, I used to make a big deal of that. I never got any qualifications of any shape or sort. I thought I'd like an honorary degree because Lady W has a master's in biology.
Oh, wow.
Blimey.
Wow.
It's not a master's.
No, it's a BSc.
It's just an ordinary one.
Oh, it's just an ordinary one.
Now
Okay,
we're
well, that's all
you
right.
know what
then.
it is? We're going
That's
to find out it's a
Together.
cycling proficiency certificate in a minute. That's what
Oh,
we're
I've got
gonna
one of
find out.
those. I got 96. What did you get?
Nothing. I never took my sense of balance.
Oh, that, and I
I'm
was
coming in
the
live
under-
from Australia.
I was the under 18 archery champion for Surrey.
Gracious.
Blimey.
I felt I shot my bow on the TV program a few times.
You did. Doing some archery with you somewhere in Hampshire, I seem to remember we went.
Could have been. We made over 300 programs in those 4 years.
Good God. That's a lot.
People send bits that are all over social media, and I actually don't remember doing things that I can see myself doing.
That's very
Ain't that
worrying.
the truth?
Was
Ain't that the
Was
truth?
that the trauma of it? You're trying to park it from the memory.
Well, no, things like other things like we went to film on the Isle of Man once. Did you come with us?
No, not on that. No, I went to film Norman Wisdom and the guy Rick Wakeman on the Isle of Man, but no, I didn't do.
Right.
What a combo.
You're probably not together.
No.
But the aeroplane got struck by lightning. It was just a little aeroplane, and we'd done some filming, and everybody started screaming.
Oh
Ooh.
God.
And I think I might have had a drink or so. I'm not sure. But I got up in the plane. That only had about 30 or 40 people on board. I got up on the plane and said something like, it's quite embarrassing. I'm just saying now so no one can use it against me. I'm saying, if we're going to die, let us do it with dignity.
And before I lose all trace of dignity, sadly, my lunch hour is over. I have to get out of here and go back to work. But
Well,
Mr. Whale, you're an absolute flipping legend. Thank you so much. I really didn't expect you to jump on. This is amazing.
Yeah, we're thrilled.
By
We
the
are
way,
thrilled.
before you go, thanks for looking after Cammy.
Oh, the greatest of pleasures, believe me. So
Excellent.
for what it is worth, I believe that Russ and Chantal probably carry on, but I fear I can't. So adieu.
See you later. He's a
gone.
nice man.
He's a lovely man. Sadly, he can
When
hear
the
me.
pandemic was on, he came and set me up a studio at home so I could carry on working.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Phil.
He's
And then
such a
I
nice
was-
guy.
Then I was diagnosed, I think, just during or at the beginning of the pandemic. So it was quite useful both ways.
Yeah, but you're battling on, buddy.
Yes,
Well, I have
you
been
are.
in hospital all over Christmas and New Year because I
I
got
know.
this ridiculous flu.
Yeah.
Hmm. Was
But
it
anyway,
like
listen,
flu
I'm
or
going to
COVID?
leave you two to it now because I think I should go. Otherwise, I don't stop talking.
Well, it's been an unexpected thrill. I'll give you
It's
that.
real.
And we
Well,
send
Well,
you
listen,
our
I would
love.
expect a drink at Little Italy in the next few weeks.
Very good idea.
We would be thrilled with that.
Yeah.
We'd be
We'll be
delighted
there.
anytime.
We'll be there.
Anytime. That would be great.
Love to Nadine.
Bye bye. Bye. James
Well,
Whale,
there
for
we
God's
are.
sake.
We've
James
been
Whale.
down. I know. Isn't that
I
lovely?
feel like
You
that.
feel blessed. Feel blessed.
I do, because he's a man who has stuck to. I get a bit emotional about this, but he's stuck to his principles from day
Yeah,
one.
stuck
And
to
what you
his gun.
see is what you get, and I love that.
Yeah.
It's none of the duplicity of showbiz and all that nonsense, all the stuff we've dealt with over the years.
Yeah.
Just a genuinely terrific and talented man. That's-
Yeah. Great
Well,
broadcast.
we're out of time.
Well, that's it. We'll
And
talk
we
to-
reviewed nothing apart from slagging off Bergerac a little bit.
There's plenty of time next week.
Okay, we look forward to it. Chantal, thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for watching.
Bye-bye.
Until Monday. Bye-bye. Take care.